Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, and welcome aboard the Conqueror. Now, let me introduce you to this tank with two statements. First of all, I just looked through War Thunder and I realized I don't have really a favorite tank. I don't really have a tank that I always go to if I want to have fun. Either they are just average or they are overperforming, and I don't get fun from overperformance. In planes and ships, the story is a bit different, but I don't want to go into that. The next thing is, this is actually the very first game that I played with the Conqueror since I played it for the last time when I made a tank review on it, or probably just wanted to spade it. The Conqueror is one of those tanks that I absolutely hated when I spaded it, but I always was going back once in a while, just trying to test the water, thinking about the gun and thinking, oh my god, you know, it has to be a good tank. Just don't play like an idiot and you can have a good time in it, right? But the matter of fact is, this tank doesn't really work in the meta the way that you expect it. There is just not really that often the location and the game situation for it to play its trump cards, being very good at long ranges for its battle rating, and also being strong at hull down. And then there is the firepower. The APDS ain't bad, but the combination of this pinpoint, rather limited post-penetration damage, then some strange bounces or non-penetrations, and the long reloads just doesn't make it very effective at destroying tanks. And you know, if you miss just the ammo rack by a few pixels, it's all the more annoying, and then in return you get blapped by a single penetration. And then there is also this god-awful cupola that just attracts APHE shells like a magnet. Let's put it that way. But again, for some unknown reason, what I'm about to show you happens very often. That the very first game that I play in a tank, or when I played for, when I haven't played it for quite a while, is very often acceptable to good. And also it's the combination of the matchmaker and match and just playing a little bit different than after I would play the tank in the second, third, fourth game, right? And in that combination, I have no explanation why this all comes together very often in the first game. And then after the first game, I get confidence and I think to myself, yes, I can do better. And this game is also in a way played that I think to myself, this isn't really all that fun to watch at YouTube. It gets boring. I could have done this and that and look at the minimap and I could have taken that shot, etc, etc. And I agree. But the more I try harder, the more I fail, the more shots I miss that I would have gotten if I wouldn't have try harded, if you know what I mean. And this is now where I think, just watch this shot. Just watch this shot. He dunks the shell and just watch this. Yeah, straight through the machine gun port. That was glorious. And when a shot like this happens, you just get confidence in the tank, right? I mean, I killed a Tiger 2 through the hull in one shot. But watch this. That shot actually hit the rock. I cannot describe the hatred that I have for bugs like that. I just lack the words. I just lack the English words. And some of the German words, they just lose something in translation, let's put it that way. But, and that's another thing, right? I spotted this tank with the machine gun, then again, and then I think to myself, I should take the shot. Then I see some pixels and, yeah, I just waste a shot. And then spectacular driving skills kick in and yeah. So I'm just sniping from hard cover and I look around. And again, look, normally in a normal match, this guy would have seen me and he would have killed me. But this is the very first game, so he didn't see me and I one-shotted him. for my third kill. Now, this gameplay is not magic, but it's a decent game, okay? It's a very first game that I made, and I just prove patience. And I'm camping, frontline camping if you will. Look, when you look at the minimap, I'm between the caps. I try to support my team, but I'm not the front line, I'm the second line if you will. I try to snipe support my team. Support, snipe, whatever. And this is something where a lot of people say, look, this is how the Conqueror gets played, this is how it's supposed to work. Yeah, but it's not really fitting the meta. You really rely on faster elements of your team to capture, to put pressure on the enemy, etc, etc. And this is not how you win games in War Thunder. You can, in certain circumstances, really support your team. I completely agree. But what about the fact that a lot of the maps are city maps, where you have to fight around the corner, and the hull armor of the Conqueror, aside from the upper front glacis, is god-awful. You get one shot, it's mostly guaranteed that you get one shot, and that is just really annoying, right? So you cannot really perform in a city fight. You cannot really perform at close quarters. If you don't make that one shell that granted has good penetration values for this battle rating, especially in a down tier if you're lucky enough to have it, which again, more or less, it was not quite a down tier. I mean, there are Leopard 1s and D54s, but it's not a full up tier. That's what I tried to say. It's still a okay tier, if you will. I know it was a beautiful shot. And watch this. This guy is on fire, and I don't feel comfortable to reload when he can shoot at me. So I reverse behind the rock. He's still on fire. He tries to extinguish the fire, and while he extinguished it, he burned down. If you closely look at at how the smoke went and how then the damage message came in from the gunner that burned down. Beautiful shot here at the Coelian. Normally that ammunition does not explode. Another, the first game's thing. I don't know how this happens. It's something that I have no explanation for. And that guy just escaped because the reload is so long. So let's talk about this reload, okay? This reload is quite hefty for a tank that has a penetration or a post-penetration damage effect that is not that powerful. So when you look at the IS-2, for example, or the IS-3, IS-4, they have quite a long reload of roughly 20 seconds. And if you make that one shot count, you don't have to aim that precisely because you have AP, HE, BC rounds. And they have very good slope modifier. And the post-penetration damage effect is quite nasty, so you very often get those one-shot kills. But the 14.9 seconds on the Conqueror, that's just so long, because even if you kill the driver and the gunner of an enemy tank in one shot, he still has enough time to just get the crew back into actions, to drive into cover, to angle the armor, or to return fire. And that is quite a big deal for a tank that, unlike the IS-3 or the IS-4, doesn't have very good armor versus APHE. Lower glacis, side armor, and then also the cupola, as I said. So it's very easy to knock out this tank in return. So I now have my 5 kills, and I still look around. There are still quite some enemies left. And, well, suicide planes, as usual, still work. And now what? Should I push? Whenever I push, I just, somebody is around the corner and blaps me. That's just how my games end in the Conqueror. And so I decide just now to advance, where I see where 2 of the tanks just got destroyed, where not that much of the enemy team is left, where the air is mostly, secured. And we have all the caps. Just now I advance. But now I feel like the stupid one. Why? Because now my team is already cleaning up the enemy team, and I don't get any more reward for just, trying to secure the second line to be the sniper support for my team. Yes, I got 5 kills. That's a okay-ish match. But that's as far as it goes for me. The last few minutes of this match are just driving around pointlessly, and there is nothing for me to do. The Conqueror is extremely sluggish in accelerating and especially turning, and then it also doesn't have the fastest turret rotation speed. It's by no means bad, but again, it's very often not good enough. And whenever I die in certain circumstances like this, I'm sure that if I would put this scene up on YouTube, somebody would be smart and say, "That's not how you use the Conqueror." Sorry, but I tried to secure the cap for our team, otherwise we would lose. Sorry that I tried to bring the fight to the enemy. I know that this tank is not designed that way. Don't tell me the stories about this. I've heard it often enough. I know how the design philosophy was about this tank and that it was the answer to the IS-3, etc., etc. But again, the meta of War Thunder is as such that mobility is very often so much more rewarding, where you can just where you just can decide games better, because you can cap, you can surround the enemy, and a lot of the mobile tanks still have APHE. So that's the story of the Conqueror. It's a love-hate relationship. Don't get me wrong, I love the design approach. I love the look of it. I love also this Super Conqueror upgrade module that Gaijin introduced a few patches back. And I love the oomph and the sound of the gun. But most of the time, I am one of the first people to die while I try to get into sniping position. So this is again one of those tanks that I am pretty sure I can point at and say this is one of those tanks I really despise. The other ones that I really remember being absolute trash were some of the Soviet tank destroyers with the big guns, because the reload again was bad, the firing angles were limited, the long reload just was painful, the gun handling was bad, etc., etc. And so the Conqueror is in line with some of the worst tanks that I played. Not because per se it's bad, but my experience in this tank is bad. Some of you will absolutely love it. Some of you will absolutely dig its playstyle. And if you compare the numbers, it's not that tragic, right? And it can kill stuff, and it has its moments, it has its locations. But in a majority of matches, I don't find those trump cards being very effective to play. And more than often, those cards are ineffective or just make you appear as you have a disadvantage. But enough has been said. It was again the first game, having a decent result and playing how it's supposed to play. Is that fun for you to watch? Is that entertaining? Do you learn something from that kind of commentary? Let me know as usual in the comment section. And that's it for me, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like with it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other as usual on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.